As you can see, this eye is not blinking. I can't smile on this side of my face. This nostril will not move.
June 10th, 2022, when Justin Bieber shocked millions of his fans. It was the first time he ever publicly showed himself struggling with a serious health condition. What was the problem? Apparently, he'd been diagnosed with Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. Within days, his team announced that his ongoing Justice World Tour would be postponed. Within a week, Rolling Stone confirmed that Bieber had officially halted all US tour dates to recover. But the situation didn't improve. Months later, he tried to resume performing, only to cancel mid-tour again after a show in Brazil. At this point, Justin told fans that performing had taken a real toll on his health, and he needed to prioritize recovery. By March 1st, 2023, Rolling Stone and the Associated Press confirmed that all remaining Justice World Tour dates with over 70 shows were permanently canceled. Since then, he sold a $200 catalog, cut ties with Scooter Braun, and even vanished from the charts. From the outside, it looked like a bad patch that almost every other celebrity faces once in their lifetime. But for Justin, it was the breaking point in a much longer decline, one that had been building for years. In his past media interactions, he'd already been open about chronic anxiety, depression, and Lyme disease. He also spoke about substance abuse, emotional burnout, and the pressure of being famous from childhood. Apparently, the paralysis just made visible what had been happening privately for a long time. From there, everything started to change: his career plans, his public appearances, and eventually, the way he handled fame altogether. To understand how he reached this point, let's find out what Justin had been up to for the past few years. In 2019 and the early 2020s, Justin's narrative was shifting. After many years of tabloid headlines and stunts, he was finally achieving some stability. He married Hailey Baldwin, began leaning into his faith, started therapy, and tried to reorient his identity away from just a pop star. In his own words, in one of his interviews, he said, "I did a bunch of stupid shit. That's okay. I'm still available. I'm still available to help, and I'm still worthy of helping." These changes became more noticeable around the release of Justice in 2021. The album was marketed as a comeback, with Justin returning from burnout, grounded and more intentional. In the Billboard cover story for the album, he spoke openly of therapy, setting boundaries, and letting go of the relentless pursuit of success. He even said that he no longer carries a cell phone. Instead, he works through an iPad with his team to compartmentalize and preserve sanity. He told Billboard, "At this point, I've reached a level of success so many times that I know success isn't a be-all, end-all to my happiness." Then, in GQ's May 2021 profile, Justin quoted the Bible, saying, hurt people, you know? The comforted become the comforters." This was clearly a vulnerable interview for him, as he also insisted that he doesn't want to let his past mistakes trap him, saying, "I don't want to let my shame of my past dictate what I'm able to do now. I did a bunch of stupid shit. That's okay. I'm still available. I'm still worthy of helping." His marriage to Hailey played a huge role in his perceived turnaround. Justin credited his wife with giving him a stabilizing force he'd never had. He said the first year of marriage was really rough, with trust issues and old wounds resurfacing, but gradually they built a life together. However, by mid-2022, the stability Justin had been building started to unravel. On June 10th, 2022, Bieber uploaded a short Instagram video that immediately went viral. In it, he explained exactly why he'd been canceling shows. He revealed he'd been diagnosed with Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, a neurological condition caused by the same virus that causes chickenpox and shingles. According to the UNC Facial Nerve Center, the virus can lie dormant for years before reactivating and attacking the facial nerve near the ear. RHS can lead to partial paralysis, ear pain, hearing loss, and sometimes long-term nerve damage affecting voice control and facial expressions. For Justin, the effect was immediate and visible. He told fans he couldn't perform his concerts because physically, obviously, not capable of doing them. He even mentioned that the disease is making it hard for him to eat. Fans were sympathetic, but also worried. Because even though Justin still looked fairly calm about the situation, it's true that the diagnosis forced him off the road for the foreseeable future. After more than 130 scheduled shows, production halted indefinitely, and that would hurt any artist. One of the biggest pop stars had to take a break, not because he was canceled or phased out, but due to a medical condition that literally took his voice and expression away. And this was just the beginning of what would become the longest disappearance of his career. The Justice World Tour had already been through multiple setbacks before Ramsay Hunt. Back in February 2022, the Las Vegas opening show was delayed after a COVID-19 outbreak among the singer's team. At the time, it looked like a minor hiccup, since Justin had weathered tour delays before. But by June, his Instagram video changed everything. Following his diagnosis, the US leg of the tour was postponed indefinitely. Rolling Stone confirmed the suspension on June 17, 2022, citing Ramsay Hunt syndrome and medical advice for complete rest. 3 months later, in September 2022, Variety reported that Bieber was suspending all remaining global dates. In that statement, he talked about both physical and mental exhaustion. After getting off stage in Brazil, the exhaustion overtook me, and I realized I needed to make my health the priority now. Despite hopes of rescheduling, that break stretched on. Fans in countries across Asia, Europe, and South America waited months for updates. But by early 2023, the silence spoke for itself. The Justice World Tour was officially canceled. Finally, on March 1st, 2023, Deadline and Billboard confirmed the news too. No rescheduled shows, no replacement timeline, just a complete cancellation of what had once been a 130-date global production. In less than a year, Justin had gone from a full-scale comeback tour to total cancellation. The Ramsay Hunt diagnosis seemed sudden to most people watching, but for anyone who'd followed Justin closely, this was part of a longer pattern of health issues and burnout. Back in early 2020, he had already gone public about serious health problems in his YouTube docuseries, Seasons. The 10-part series, released just before his Changes album, showed him hooked up to IVs, undergoing medical testing, and struggling to even get out of bed some mornings. In the series and accompanying interviews, he revealed he'd been diagnosed with Lyme disease, a tick-borne infection that can cause fatigue, muscle pain, brain fog, and nerve issues. He was also diagnosed with chronic mononucleosis, a viral illness that can leave long-term immune effects. He described waking up feeling like he had the flu every day, and that it was affecting both his physical energy and his mental health. In a 2020 Vogue profile, Justin explained that these illnesses, along with years of anxiety and depression, had taken a major toll. While a lot of people kept saying Justin Bieber looks like shit on meth, etc., they failed to realize I'd been recently diagnosed with Lyme disease. Not only that, but I had a serious case of chronic mono, which affected my skin, brain function, energy, and overall health. At this point, his chronic conditions, mental health issues, and the pressures of continuing his tour were already turning into something unsustainable. Following years of public battles with health and burnout, Justin Bieber made a move in early 2023 that signaled another turning point, this time financial. In January, he sold the rights to his entire back catalog to Hypnosis Songs Capital for a reported $200 million. The deal covered every song he released before 2022, over 290 tracks, including global hits like Baby, Sorry, Love Yourself, and Peaches. For an artist under 30, this was virtually unheard of. According to Hypnosis CEO Merck Mercuriadis, this acquisition ranks among the biggest deals ever made for an artist under the age of 70. It put Justin in the same league as legacy acts like Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, and Neil Young, all of whom had sold their catalogs for 9-figure sums. But why did he make this decision while he was barely entering his 30s? According to Rolling Stone and Variety, Bieber was influenced by both pragmatic and personal factors. His health issues had already forced him to take multiple breaks from touring. Now, sources close to him were saying he was looking to simplify his life and become more stable. Financially, the deal gave him generational wealth and protected him from the unpredictability of touring or streaming revenue. In the music industry, selling a catalog can be a strategic exit. It's a way for artists to cash out at peak valuation. But fans and insiders saw it as a possible sign that Justin was stepping back, at least creatively. The fact that the sale came just months after he canceled the remainder of his Justice World Tour makes it all even more concerning. By 2024, another major chapter in Justin Bieber's career had come to a close. Just a year after selling, he parted ways with his longtime manager, Scooter Braun, effectively ending a 15-year partnership that began when he was just 13 years old. Variety later confirmed Braun's official retirement from artist management on June 17, 2024. However, Justin's separation from Braun reportedly happened months, if not a full year, before Braun's public exit. According to Teen Vogue and People, sources close to Justin and Scooter said the two had not spoken regularly in months. Now, if you're wondering why this is a big deal, Braun wasn't just another manager. He discovered Justin. Back in 2008, he stumbled upon Justin's old YouTube videos, flew the then teenager to Atlanta, and helped him secure his first record deal with Usher's mentorship. This led to Justin's viral breakout and total global domination with My World 2.0. So when the partnership ended, it was the end of an era. The two had been through countless highs and lows, and Scooter also acted as a crisis manager, image architect, and even a reliable friend during Bieber's more turbulent years. But by 2024, the dynamic had changed. Justin was older, married, and more focused on health, faith, and autonomy, and Scooter was transitioning into full-time CEO duties at Hybe America. After parting ways with Scooter, Justin entered one of the quietest periods of his public life. From 2023 onward, he was no longer putting out music at the same frequency fans had come to expect from him. His last notable musical appearance was in August 2023, when he featured on SZA's acoustic version of Snooze. Still, it wasn't a comeback single teasing a new tell-all album. It was more like a guest appearance from someone testing whether he still wanted the spotlight. The YouTube video of the performance got millions of views, but Justin didn't follow it up with new solo work. By 2024, the narrative shifted entirely away from music when E! News confirmed that Justin and Hailey Bieber had welcomed their first child. Soon after, his public appearances became rare, limited mostly to casual sightings in Los Angeles and church events. Then, in March 2025, he shared a somber Instagram story, writing about feeling undeserving of love and success. This raw and vulnerable post struck a nerve with followers, especially after his earlier mental health confessions in Seasons and interviews about burnout and faith. Then, between 2023 and 2025, Justin didn't announce a retirement or a next album. As Justin stepped away from the stage and focused on family life, another part of his story came back into focus: the reality behind his marriage to Hailey Bieber. For years, their relationship was portrayed as the anchor that kept him grounded after a decade of chaos. But Justin himself has been open about the fact that it wasn't that simple. In a 2021 GQ interview, Justin had described their first year of marriage. There was just a lack of trust, all these things that you don't want to admit to the person that you're with. A year later, in a 2022 Apple Music interview, he went even deeper. I had an emotional breakdown, thinking marriage was going to fix my problems. For years, fans have speculated about the couple's relationship behind the scenes, with many stating that Justin treats Hailey badly and only married her to get over his ex, Selena Gomez. Despite the constant social media scrutiny about their marriage, neither of them publicly addressed the situation with Selena. She did seem pretty frustrated about the divorce rumors in a May interview with Vogue. Well, I thought 7 years in it would have died down already, and it hasn't. You would think after having a child, people would maybe move on, chill out a little bit, but no. So I guess these bitches are going to be mad. So what really happened to Justin Bieber? Calling it a downfall would be a gross oversimplification of what truly happened. Justin Bieber isn't a spoiled child star who took the wrong path when his life was finally becoming stable. Instead, we can see that he's made multiple attempts to maintain a healthy life, marriage, and career. But the abuse he experienced as a child star, the constant stress of his diagnoses, and the public scrutiny surrounding his relationships had taken a toll on him. And finally, he broke down. Whether he ever returns to full-time music or not, all we can hope for is a healthier and happier chapter for Justin Bieber.